Hi, I wanted to make a video advocating for love. I am a champion of love, one of many, and I think that the healing that a lot of people need, the simplest fix would be that if people could fall in love and stay together. Because I've talked about it over and over again, you're probably sick of hearing it on my channel. Does an episode go by where I don't say that the strategy is divide and conquer? They want to keep us divided from each other, divided within ourselves. So you see umpteenth video. They have videos for the men, videos for the women, where the women, like you'll see a compilation of the same woman, and she'll talk about how she's down on love and you can't trust men and why, and they give all this bullshit advice about what's wrong with men, and then men have all the videos of what's wrong with women, and then men and women both have their red flag videos. But what you'll see as you get a window into people's lives, because they're offering it for free through TikTok compilations, you can see the same woman, the same man talk about how, oh, here's another chance for love. Women do this more than men, but men do it too. So I want to include everybody because this is about getting people together, even though I know all the women are whores and all the men can't be trusted and they're all misogynist and toxic and just being a man is evil and wrong and everything. But despite all that, people want to get together and stay together. You want at least one person you can trust down here. And if you have somebody you care about and they have somebody they care about, which would be you, well, that's worth living for, that's worth fighting for, and that's something, to lay down your life for. Something to lay down your life for. The woman you're willing to die for, the man that you're willing to die for. This sentiment is shared by men and women. It's the idea of sacrifice, self-sacrifice. There's the selfishness of isolation, which is part of the divide and conquer strategy. That's why they talk about the epidemic of narcissism. But when you see these compilations of, like, let's just say, for example, a month of somebody's life, even though I'm not sure of the timeline, where you say the same woman, and she's saying, got a date tonight, hope it works out. And then it's going good, and then by the third date or something, it didn't work out. And she's like, you know what, men are awful, you can't trust them, you can't believe them. And then the guys are talking about how it's going good, and then he finds out something about her that he doesn't like. And then he's saying all women are the same, and it's cut and paste. You know what, I keep dating the same person, I keep having the same problems. You can't, men are saying you can't trust men, and women are saying you can't, women are saying you can't trust men, and men are saying you can't trust women. And that's part of the divide and conquer thing that isn't working. But the fact of the matter is, I'd like to be able to get to the point where I could make videos for whoever would see them, so that you would not be down on love. Because if they want people to be isolated and alone, I happen to know, just facts, is that everybody kind of wants to be paired up with somebody if they're not already. And there are lots of horror stories. I've lived horrible relationships, and I know guys that lived worse ones for me. Like a guy that did the same thing twice. He fell for a girl that had a family, and he was a good handy guy and, working construction and stuff like that, fixed up the house. And then when everything's nice again, then the dad comes back and they get rid of the guy that fixed the house or paid the mortgage. And he did this twice. And then they get rid of him, and then they're a family again, and he paid for it. He thought he was going to get a family, and he cared about the woman and loved her. Instead, he just paid for shit, and then when the house was fixed up, she gave him the boot and says, you know what, I want to get back together with the father of my children. And there's all kinds of horrible stories. I liked the girl. I couldn't believe a girl like that would have anything to do with me, and she had OnlyFans. Or, the girl likes the guy and then finds out that the same thing that she did, that he did to romance her, he's been doing to like 5 other girls. And the guys will be honest about it, and they'll say, you know what, I plowed through like 50 women in this year, because I've seen these videos. They plowed through 50, 100 women in a year, and then they find out, you know what, after you have sex with 100 different women in a year, you find out that they're all kind of the same, and they want the same things. And yeah, no shit, like people are the same, like men and women have the same basic complex of emotions, and whether it's a man or a woman, we all want the same basic things. There's only so much entertainment. What kind of quirky girl are you looking for that she doesn't like all the same shit that everybody else likes? that's not reason enough to pick one and pair up with them. You got to ruin a whole bunch of other guys' potential wives, or make these women crazy by banging them out and think you're going to call them back because you're a handsome guy and you set a new standard for these poor women, and now they think they're going to get a guy like you when you just wanted to bang on them because you could, because you're a handsome guy. I hate guys like that. I think the other guys should team up with the dads and the brothers and kick these guys in the ding-dings for screwing their sisters and daughters and not picking one. All right? It's too easy. But, you know, they say it's easier for beautiful people, but they're just as... Look at all the beautiful women making whether they have makeup on or not, they're still pretty. And they're making... And not all of them, though, granted. So they know... Gay guys taught women how to put on makeup, so now women know how to put on makeup. It's very deceptive. They have all these things you can insert in your bras. Like, wait a minute, those aren't really your tits. You don't look like that. And Spanx, you know, locking everything in and tightening it up, and then that comes, you know, like, I had a entire relationship where I never saw the girl's torso because she always had Spanx on, you know, like it'd come down from the top and then she'd pull him up, but I never saw her stomach. I know she had one. I didn't care. I loved her. I would just be completely naked and laser off those tattoos. But I'm not down on love, and I can see how easily it's like a rash thing, you know. And if you're a man and you know about women making rash decisions, it's too easy. Something doesn't go your way, so then you want to vent about it. Men do this too, but it's just more like women seem to be more easily vocal about, like, I'm going to make a video about this right away and let the other women know how I feel, and let men know that how they don't measure up or whatever. But every time there's a new guy or anytime there's a new girl, people are the same. They usually will go for, I have another chance at love, and then they take it, and then it doesn't work out, and then they immediately complain about it without taking the time to think about whether they should talk about it. Or they hold all their feelings back and they don't talk about it right away, and then they explode in a mean-spirited video where they trash the person, and sometimes even letting you know who they are, or sometimes even having them in other videos, and then they just trash talk somebody that you saw in their content, and you don't know the stranger from Adam or from Eve, whether it's a guy or a girl. And it's a bad idea. You know, kissing and don't kiss and tell, that's why they say that. Now we have a phone in our hands and high quality, high definition video, and if, you know, your camera shows too much of what you really look like, you can put filters on it and look better. And we know about the women making the crying videos, and sadly we know about guys making the crying videos, and we shouldn't see that shit. I mean, if you see a guy crying in a video, I don't know why he would do that, and I am a man, but when I see the women doing it, in most cases, and you know this is true, it's kind of an advertisement for the next guy. I don't like men, I don't trust them, and then they go through all the, you know, the baggage and all the bad things that went wrong and how they're the victim. Or maybe even the women, I've seen these videos too, and there's a lot of them, where the women admit that they're awful and they're saying they're terrible and they really blew it. But they're also, that crying video is advertisement for the next guy. Somebody that will accept her anyway. This is what they call simping, right? And not all these women have like OnlyFans or whatever. But I still have to advocate that people would get together and find a way to make it work. Everybody seemingly comes with baggage now. We all have lives to live. And it doesn't matter what the age range is. Old people and young people are saying embarrassing shit and, you know, stuff they shouldn't say in videos. And once it's out there, it's out there. And somebody saved it. There's too many people not to have saved you. You know, you hope and you know, maybe you pray, please don't let them save that video. And then that's the one that comes out at the worst time to prove that you're a hypocrite. Okay, so men and women are hypocrites, and they lie and they cheat and they steal, even though I know that not everybody cheats. And it's a sad thing to keep dating a person and they cheat on you and whatever. I know people like this. I know what it's like to be cheated on. It's the worst. But that's not every relationship. And probably a lot of people, depending on degrees of attractiveness, have had a lot of relationships. But even people that aren't attractive can still have a lot of relationships, or they can give it up a lot, because all a woman has to do is be willing, and there'll be somebody that'll climb on top of her. Or, you know, if she's really desperate, that she's willing to climb on top of or whatever. And women can be awful and men can be awful, but I still have to advocate that men and women are made for each other. And when the strategy is divide and conquer, and people of their own free will and accord make videos about how men are no good and how women are no good, they do it in a rash moment. And as soon as the next person comes along that they think could love them and get it right, they go for it. So, you know, go for it. But people notice the red flags. How many times have I seen, I don't know, manosphere videos of the wall or whatever, and I don't watch that shit anymore, but I've seen a lot of them. It's like potato chips, right? You keep watching them and you're like, dude, man, maybe I'm not doing so bad because these women, bitches are crazy, right? Yeah, but they've kind of been made crazy by social media platforms. And men, the same thing. Just saying nobody's no good because you watched other people's videos. And then young people developing sensibilities have their hearts broken and they go to watch the videos on what happened. And then it just makes people not trusting. And it's by design. That's part of the divide and conquer strategy. Not everybody that makes a red flag man or woman video is, you know, knows what they're doing. They're being honest experientially. And a lot of that stuff is true. But kind of everybody needs somebody to love them. And people will say that they're not interested. But when somebody comes into their life that's attractive enough to them, they usually go for it. You know, like looks do matter. Like, what's first appearances based on? Is this person attractive enough that you'd have sex with them? And if they're not, then, you know, drink or get high. And then maybe then they'll be attractive. Or maybe you're already drunk or high, and then you sober up and you're like, what did I do? Women and men do this both. Before there was weeds and weed pens and vape and all that stuff, people would get drunk and they think they were going to bed with somebody really attractive because they were drunk, and then they wake up next to them and you're like, oh, that's what I do. Don't have sex with strangers and hope that it will turn into a relationship would be the obvious advice that you've already heard from so many other videos, right? It's just a thing that people throw in there. Don't, you know, if a stranger's blowing you and you're hoping it'll turn into a relationship, that's probably not the greatest smart, even if you like them stupid. And men and women both want, you know, want the same thing, somebody else. They want, not like they can't make up their mind, that's women, but I mean like they want somebody that they can latch onto and trust and build something. And the obvious advice for men is establish yourself, and you know, then when you have something and you're confident, then some woman will come along and test it. And you know, women, stop giving away sex for free, because nobody wants their wife to have, you know, blown so many guys as you know, any woman watching this has, and I don't even know you. But also people, like we're hearing like there's an epidemic of, it's not an epidemic, but we're hearing that a lot of people actually aren't having sex, they're staying home and masturbating. There's stories of 30-year-old virgin guys, and they talk about incels and femcels. I'm not saying go out and young hearts be free, I'm always against that, but I am advocating that people should try and get together. But then again, you've seen the videos and the testimonials of countless strangers that are telling you what happened to them, and it's a horror show, and you're like, yeah, I want to trust somebody, but it's not the easiest thing to do. And yet that's the thing that we have to do. Like a nation is not what the government tells you what to do. It shouldn't be. It's a bunch of people who want the same things, which is a stable way of life and food and shelter and a roof over their heads and the ability to reproduce and have people with their eyebrows that came out of her womb. That's right. Or to adopt kids and to have a family if you can't have them. If you can't, something wrong with your junk or his junk or her junk. Now people are having a hard time getting by, and it's by design. So people are like, I don't want to have a relationship. I'm just glad that I can barely take care of myself, kind of stuff. But it gets better if you can trust each other, and I think that that's the problem. We've been programmed by our social media platforms to not trust each other, and with good reason. There's people who are crazy, and a lot of people can't be trusted. They do the meanest things to each other. Does that mean that we can give up on love? I really don't think that we should. And this is the rub, people don't give up on love. They make videos and TikToks and they tell you that they've given up on love, But whether it's a man or woman, as soon as somebody comes along that looks the right way that they like, they're going to go for it. Or they're even willing to try it. Well, I usually don't date a girl like that, a guy like that. I'm going to try this different genre of man. He's into country and you're into emo, and you'll make it work if you know what I mean? Like, people will try and go for it anyway. It doesn't matter what kind of thing. Maybe I'm going to date a hip-hop guy now. If somebody comes along and there's some kind of attraction, people go for it. That hasn't changed. It's just because of the phone and the internet is on the phone, they make a video as soon as something goes, as soon as the ass hair is out of place, then they're on the phone giving their testimonial about, you know what, I tried it again and I got burned again. Well, stop making a video and try it again. And the next time you get burned, don't make a video about it to vent. Just seethe and, you know, and don't blow up and make a video. I mean, and some people make these videos, it's like they know that the trauma and the drama gets the hits. So they're kind of living a life that encourages that they have to have something to complain about. I mean, that is what gets the hits. This is by design, like the social media platforms, and I don't care which one it is, they're all the same. It's all drama farming. Like, they want you to focus on a negative thing. This was proved for us by the TV news when people figured out, because you saw videos on this, and if you haven't, I will tell you. The TV news was always trying to get you scared so that you have to see this. Like, they announce something on the news that's horrible, and then they're like, the thing you have to know, and then you would have to watch the TV news at 6 or 11 or whenever, to find out the shocking, alarming thing that you have to see this. You have what you need to know, and then you watch it and you're like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. I have to go on living anyway. But they got your attention, and now people are programmed we're programming each other. When Philip K. Dick wrote A Scanner Darkly, and he was hanging out with the Silicon Valley guys, he was talking about a future where everybody had to spy on like 5 other people, and that was part of their life. Now all we have to do is make content for anyone, and instead of spying on each other, we can tell on each other through social media platforms and expose that we're all hypocrites. But also, we're programming each other. I would say maybe that's not exactly what was written to Scanner Darkly. I couldn't tell you. Go watch the Scanner Darkly movie. They ruined it with a cartoon filter. It's starring Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, and Woody Harrelson and Robert Downey Jr. And it's about, in the future, everybody has to spy on like 5 other people. But now we just attack each other online. That's kind of the same thing. That's kind of a Scanner Darkly. And it's part of a divide and conquer strategy. And everybody is a lot of people are on drugs, whether it's prescription drugs or gas station weed or booze or both, or you got toxoplasmosis because you're a sexy cat lady or whatever, or a kitty cat boy or whatever. We've gotten weird. So that's the baggage we have now, Scott or Ramona. Everybody comes with baggage now. Scott, who thought Scott Pilgrim was a prophecy? Nobody, but it is. It's about the gamification of life because we think like Scott Pilgrim. It's our story, and we romanticize ourselves and our lives, and then we don't trust each other in relationships, and they're horrible, mean-spirited people. It's like when the Peanuts characters from Charlie Brown grew up and started banging each other, and they're miserable because, I don't know if you remember Charlie Brown and the Peanuts characters, but they were mean little buggers. Those little peanut-headed kids with Snoopy the dog, they're mean to each other. And that's Scott Pilgrim. Like, they're look at how mean those kids are, those hipster kids. And everything's like, they gamify life. Like, the way they think about life is points and coins and shit. That's old people now too. Like, we've been given the same programs, and we're kind of lame. But I still would say even all the things I'm saying maybe are not encouraging of love. I kind of feel like they are. I'm saying don't be discouraged. Keep trying. And, you know, the passport bros find out that they go to another country and they think that they're going to get one of the good ones, and they bring her back to their country, or they go live where she lives, and then finds out that she was a child sex worker, or that, you know, like, there was plenty of women on wherever you came from, and you just, you know what I mean? Like, I know sometimes marrying a woman from another country works out, but, you know, look at the places where the passport bros are telling you to go to find women, and I'm like, yeah, this is places where women are abused through their childhood, just like whatever's wrong with them from wherever country you're from. So like, no matter where you go, there you are. And it's the same bitches, pretty much. Unless it worked out for you, then great. You managed to go to a small pocket of the world, and either you stayed there with her, or you found a woman that had traditional values, because the Western women are like boned. Somebody's got to marry them, and then they're hot, even without makeup, some of them. And like, I don't know. But I just can't be down on love, because what is a nation? It's made up of its people, and if its people are a couple of men and women that are together, and they stay together, then there's something to fight for, and you can't just push them around. But if you can have people isolated and alone, that's a divide and conquer thing that I keep talking about over and over again through pretty much each and every video. Because it's true, like that's the strategy. Isolate people, look what they did in 2020. They said stay 6 feet apart from one another, and don't read facial cues and facial recognition, cover your faces, and that's how you interact with each other. It messed up a generation. Like kids graduating at home from a live stream is sickening to me. And it's part of a disassociate. And then you have all the impossible pornography, whether it's fantasy stuff of animations, or whether it's sexual athletes of people that are hotter or prettier than you, and more handsome than you could get, or whatever. And then you just watch hot people do it, when instead, before everybody saw that shit for free, it was just somebody liked you, and like, maybe I'll try liking them back. And then your parents look at you and go like, well, maybe that's odd pairing, but I'm just glad they found somebody. Right? That's how history's been. Well, I hope it works. Oh, you knocked her up? Now you guys got to get married. Make it work. Maybe it's not the healthiest option. And we know that people don't do that. We know from a Teen Mom on MTV. MTV used to be music television for teenagers to separate them from their parents and not trust anyone over 30, because they said as much. They had that from the 1960s, don't trust anyone over 30. Now what they're saying is don't trust anyone, and if you're a man you can't trust women, and if you're a woman you can't trust man. I mean, what's better, to be a woman in Europe that's an Italian or French or whatever, and you have a security pig against Muslim men that were immigrants that have a different way of life and culture, or whatever, rape culture, whatever you want to call it. Are you safer with a pig, or would you rather have a boyfriend? I'd rather have my pig. Bullshit. You're lonely. And if you had a guy that met your impossible standards, you'd take him, and then you'd both walk the pig down the street. You probably still need the pig. But also, I don't want to just say I hate people that were taken from a horrible place and given a better place, and they don't know how to behave. That's done on purpose. It's programming. You take somebody that has dark brown skin from the desert and put them in a place where they don't get sun. That's bad for their health too, and the mental state and everything. And you had a people that they held down on purpose, specifically so they can move them around like playing pieces on a board. Yeah, they're awful, but that's still somebody. You think that when they were a kid they wanted to grow up into a guy that ran away from a woman because they were going to rape her if she didn't have a pig, because Muslims can't be near pork? Whatever that's about. That's heartbreaking. So I still can't be down on love. And if somebody had loved those rape gangs over in the UK or whatever, or the men weren't cowards that, like now they got to fight about it because they're like, we got to change it. Yeah, you can't accept that stuff. And in Americans have guns, so that changes things. Did you ever meet a cute gal and you find out she's got a gun in her purse? That wouldn't scare me away. And depending on what her political beliefs, like, why do you have the gun in your purse? Well, I'm afraid of men or whatever. It's, whatever. I'm just saying, like, I think men and women have become too picky, and they watch videos sort of like what do you call it? Like, they're given the proclivity to prejudge. Like, you're not giving people a chance. Or it's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of it not working out. Why do you keep dating the same bitch? Maybe there's something wrong with you. Maybe you got to think about it. I know there's like every kind of video on, like, that will tell you what's going wrong. But what you're doing is you're programming yourself every time you watch whatever podcast or Fresh and Fit, if it even exists anymore. or whatever the new version of that same show is, where Indian guy does the same thing, and he has a bunch of girls there that know that they're going to be humiliated, and they don't care because guys are going to go to their OnlyFans and they'll make a couple more bucks. I mean, that's why women keep going on whatever podcast. They know, but they also know that men will go to their OnlyFans if they see them on whatever, and that's how a couple careers of OnlyFans girls were made bigger, because the girls are paying attention to each other, and they're like, what is that bitch doing? Oh, she got on whatever, and now she's blowing up. Yeah, because that's sad, but true. And you go on the show to be humiliated, and it makes your career because the guys want to see you naked. It's just like humiliation for money. Who give, like. But does that mean that every guy has to marry a reformed whore and that all women are sluts? No. Does that mean that every guy is a misogynist maniac, whatever the hell that means anymore, that can't be trusted, and you're safer in the woods with a bear and a pig than a man? That's utter bullshit. And the proof of this is that every time people say they don't trust anybody anymore, if somebody comes along, they give them a chance. And that's the same for men or women. So stop fighting it. I mean, I don't know where you stand on all this, but I just wanted to talk about it. I hope whatever kind of point I have came across, and I know what the point is actually. It's that people were made to be together, and if you want a country to be strong, you got to pair them up and make them stay together. So that's on each and every person on an individual way, in an individual basis, to not let themselves be divided and conquered and just go along with whatever the videos tells them. Like, if all you watch is manosphere videos, then you're convinced that pretty women aren't pretty because because gay guys taught them how to do makeup. I said that already. And who taught women how to be deceptive? Trans men, because they're trying to look like women, hot women, right? I guess. So now women know how to contour their faces so they all have the same shaped face with the eyes that have the black stuff here, and that's not going away. Like, sometimes that's the only makeup you see women wear. They put too much stuff on the sides of their eyes, and that's the forbidden teachings that the fallen angels taught women that God didn't like. I don't know if you know this or not, but God from the Bible, he did not like, or the Apocrypha of the Bible rather, God didn't like women painting their eyes. He said he wanted people's bonding to be actually real. So if women don't wear makeup and you like somebody and guys don't wear it, and not guy liner God doesn't like that either, just so you know. So yes, I know women wear makeup, but like, if you see somebody what they really look like and they're not misrepresenting themselves, even though we lie, but like, if you see what somebody looks like and they're not wearing makeup, that's a better chance of a relationship lasting. Now, with the makeup that women wear, you can't even really tell what they look like. You have to get that app that the Russians made that takes the makeup off so you can see that what they really look like. And or some kind of whatever apps women have to see what's inside of a guy's wallet or something, whatever for guys. But it was the easiest thing in the world in the past for people to pair up and stay together. And lying about history and saying that all the famous historical figures were either gay, or that men were always awful and all the women got beaten, and the whole history is of that one of child brides. That's all bullshit and lies. That's psyops, if you want to call it that, which a lot of it is, to just divide and conquer. It's just part of the divide and conquer strategy that they've been throwing at us over and over again, so that people don't stay together. Because if you have a person isolated and alone, they're easier to control, right? But if you have a bunch of people that are couples and they have friends with other couples and they stay together, that's made nations strong. And you add to that families, it gives people something to fight for. If you divide and conquer people, you can push them around better because they're selfish and only care about themselves. And that's how you can take over a country and make everybody live communism, Marxism, globalism, same thing. Socialism, same thing. And that's what they want. They want everyone to have a Mick life, one taste worldwide, and it's bitterness and fear and anger and resentment and hate, and that's how you control somebody. That's how you push them around. They want them people doing this: dopamine, cortisol, dopamine, cortisol, dopamine, cortisol, dopamine, cortisol. They don't want people to fall in love. So if I can see, as well as you can see, that the strategy is divide and conquer, and they don't want people to fall in love and stay together, well, then that's what I want. I want to make a video like this one, and probably more if I can get it down into shorter, like this is not a rehearsal, but like this is, I'm gonna make more videos like this. I've done it in the past before. One of the subtitles of my channel subheadings used to be, Champion of Love or something like that. And there's a channel called Champion of Love, and it's my face and the icon, and it's not even my channel. Go look at the bottom of my homepage, and you can find the Champion of Love channel. That's somebody else, bless him. I think he's in Australia, and he did a video of when I was naive and dumb and younger and more handsome. And I've been talking about, like, don't let people divide and conquer for years. I've been talking about it for years, even when I shouldn't have been saying that shit and I was drunk and high all the time. I still knew, like, it's a very obvious, transparent thing. You don't want to be down on love. That's how you want to rule people, you break them. And if you break them, they give up on love. And we know that that's proven by George Orwell's 1984, because not Lenina, I'm thinking of Huxley. So in 1984, Winston and Julia fall in love with each other. Julia's already a slut, and she's banging a whole bunch of other guys in the party and everything like that. But when Winston and Julia meet each other, they want to pair up. And the entire point of this story is that Winston and Julia fall in love, and as soon as the government finds out about it, they break them up, and they torture them till they give up on love. And the whole story ends with Winston crying about, or actually it ends with them in the park where Winston and Julia meet each other, and they forgot that they even loved each other because they broke them up. The whole point of 1984 is to break up men and women, and love loses. So that's evil. I want love to win. And if you watch the movie of 1984, at the end of it, John Hurt is crying, not because he remembers loving Julia. It's because he's crying because of how much he loves Big Brother, and how could he have ever let that bitch get in the way of his love for the authority, which is grim and sinister, and they'll never achieve that goal. You know what I mean? Like, just because they planned our future since the beginnings of science fiction with, like, Jules Verne and 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea or whatever, doesn't mean 20,000 Leagues? What was it? It doesn't matter. But if you go back to Jules Verne, that's propaganda for our future. And then, Fabian Socialist, H.G. Wells takes it further. Then Aldous Huxley takes it further with Brave New World. And in Brave New World, it has the same message as 1984. And in Brave New World, John the Savage lives on a human reservation where he's born out of a womb. And he goes into the Brave New World with his mother. And his mother goes into the Brave New World, which she remembers when she left it. And she gets sick and dies. And then John, they call him John the Savage. John falls for Lenina, and Lenina is the overseer. She's like Alpha Double Plus or whatever. She's an overseer of the hatcheries, and because people are hatched and not born, and some of them, at least some sects of society or whatever, hatched and not born. And by the end of it, John hangs himself because he realizes Lenina is crazy, the Brave New World's evil, and he's probably sad because his mom died. And then Lenina doesn't know what to do, so her and the twins and whoever's with her fall down into an orgy-porgy dog pile because they don't know how to deal with grief, or why John would hang himself, so they have an orgy. That's Brave New World. And maybe I've taken some liberties with the endings, but it does end with John the Savage shuffling himself off this mortal coil. And then Lenina, they don't know what to do about it because she's nuts, because love has died. And the point of Brave New World in 1984, both stories, is that love dies at the end and nobody gets together. What's the happy ending? That's the most common one for every fairy tale. The prince and the princess get together and they lived happily ever after. Well, the genre of teen dystopian sci-fi doesn't let you do that. There's no happily ever after for that. And, unless it's Hunger Games, where the guy's name is PETA, which might as well be called Beta. Remember Hunger Games, where her boyfriend is a guy called PETA? If you put a loop at the bottom of that P, it becomes Beta. He's a Beta guy. That's not good. In the Brave New World, Beta is not a bad position to be in. But in our world, to be a Beta male provider is humiliation. Nobody would want that, right? The guys know like that. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to have some other guy's goo in there, and then I got to raise somebody else's kids, and then if I buy a house for him, he might come back and I get kicked out. That's terrible. So I just wanted to make this video to say, you know, like, love is a thing worth fighting for, but you know when you're cooked, you're like, yeah, this is, you know what I mean? Like, there's enough red flag videos to know whether or not you got a stinker, whether you're a man or a woman watching this video, because there are a couple women that see these. I don't know if they'll see this one. But anyway, like, I just can't, I refuse to be down on love, because that's the thing that they want people to do. They want you to give up on love. Maybe you need to focus on, you know, like, getting money so that you know, so that you can be Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater, had a wife and you can keep her, because in the nursery rhyme, Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater had a wife but couldn't keep her. But I still don't think people should be down on love, because part of the divide and conquer strategy that they don't tell us is that if you have two people living together and they trust each other and they try to, you can build something. I know it's harder and harder to do, and they're trying to take it away from us. But it's easier if you have, it's supposed to be easier if you have somebody. It's not just supposed to be you got a woman and she sits on her ass and doesn't do anything and you have to do everything. That's why it isn't working out for the women that want that. You both have to be willing to risk something for each other. And if you love somebody, there's the selfishness goes away, and the selflessness that you're supposed to have, which is one of the qualities of love between two people when they join together one flesh. That's, God made men and women to be together. So what's against God? Men and women staying apart. He told us to be fruitful and multiply. That wasn't just for the past and Old Testament people or whatever. That's, you know, they want us, they don't want people to fall in love. Who's they? The wealthy elite whose fortunes shape the fates of nations, and evil things like Bilderberg meetings and BlackRock, and the guy that said you will eat the bugs and all that shit. Those guys are bozos. And yes, our leaders are plotting to kill us so that they can have one global government, and the guys that make Microsoft or Apple, they're both evil. And those are your illusions of choice. Democrat, Republican, they're both wings on the same bird, and that bird's a turkey vulture. And, you know, Apple, Microsoft, you want the forbidden apple, or you want, you know, Bozo, who isn't a computer guy. He's a legacy, his dad was a legacy eugenics guy, right? That's the Microsoft guy. Look at what his dad was interested in. You say it's about computers, but really it's about getting those numbers down. How many times have you heard that creepazoid say getting those numbers down? He said it. And so have a lot of other people. We don't need to get the numbers down. We need to pair up. Then we can fight against them. You need like love. The power of love gives you something to fight for, and we know what to fight against. We have to fight against the divide and conquer strategy. And so don't be down on love, and you know, maybe you need to focus on other things first. What do you hear? You've heard this advice before. Two broke people can fall in love, but you know, if you just focus on, if you're a man and you're seeing this, which is more likely that it's a man watching this, you know, focus on, you know, doing whatever you can, and then if you have anything at all, then maybe a woman will come latch onto it. But don't think that nobody will love you because you don't have any money. They're trying to make it so that nobody has any money, and it's harder to live. Does that mean that, oh, I can't fall in love, I don't have enough money? That's bullshit. You know, fall in love with the nice girl that works at TJ Maxx or something. That's probably, you know, whatever. You want a woman that's not a slut. Maybe you want a woman that works at a place where mostly women go to, that's not about anti-man or whatever, because then she's not going to be flirting on with guys all the time if it's a girl that works register and you think you could get her or whatever. I mean, there's so much countless advice you can find your way to. My advice for this is not to be down on love. Don't give up. But, you know, don't get black-pilled. That's the whole point of the black pill. The black pill just means you gave up. It's easy to be negative. You know, it's the easiest thing to do is find fault with everything. That's what the internet does. And that's how you get the hits. It's encouraged that we find fault with everything. That's easy to do. You want me to do 40 points of red flag women? I did it already. I did it years ago. And then I did it again. And I did it again. And I kept adding to the list of things that were true that you should avoid. But who the hell are you expecting to find? Everybody, the people are a mess. Men and women both. You're both losers. I mean, what do you think? I'm like a prince? Come on. Haven't I done enough videos about myself where you can see, like, you know what you don't like about me if you're a subscriber to my channel and you've watched my channel when I had like 400 videos on this page, and you saw the Rumble stuff, which was the YouTube stuff I couldn't put on YouTube. You know what's wrong with me. But I can't give up on love. And not everybody needs that. If you're doing good and you're like, I'm not really thinking about falling in love, okay, then don't worry about it. But if you're pining away for someone, and you don't, it's like, I want to find the one or whatever. It's not a wrong impulse. It's like a basic human impulse that people would meet each other and pair up. He made men and women for this. You're supposed to join your lives together, one flesh. You know what one flesh means? It means one flesh. Like, you're not supposed to be able to pry them apart. Divorce is supposed to be a hard thing to do. You're trying to build a lifetime with somebody, and they don't want people to be able to build a lifetime. They want people they can push around. And they want us to shit on each other and be down on love, so I can't do it. Whatever the devil wants, I want to take it away from him. I don't want him to have anything. I want everything. I want every single soul taken away from that filthy bastard. Look at all the trouble look at what all the trouble that guy caused. And he was an angel. The worst. So whatever the devil and his minions want, I just don't want them to have it. I want to take everything away from them. Everything. What do they want to do? They just want to wreck people and send them to hell. So I want to take every single person out of the devil's mouth. Every chewed up poor bastard. Every chewed up asshole, and say, you're not a bastard at all. You have a Father who art in heaven. Maybe you better go tell him you're sorry and ask for help. Try that. Ha! That's a quote from Alf. Remember that? Remember Alf? He was a Martian. He loved to eat pussy. Anyway, don't be down on love. Be careful. You don't want to get anything. I could just keep going and going about all this love stuff. I could just make a whole channel talking about love and why people should be together and horrible stories. I could do like story time of stuff that I lived. I could do story time of other people's stories, of telling like the horror stories that friends have known. Like, when you're dating a girl and you haven't fooled around with her and you think you should be the one. This is a story. Dating somebody, liked her, and then the girl says, well, we haven't fooled around because she had to tell him she had warts, like genital warts. So then he broke up with her. He's like, yeah, that's a deal breaker. So don't crap out with your dick. Or, guys can give women diseases too. Don't fornicate. Wait till you're married and, get tested or what, I don't know, whatever. It's like I'm turning this into a different episode about a different thing. I don't want you to be discouraged on love. Not everybody has venereal diseases. Not everybody has HPV, even though they tell you that. They just want it to be like, everybody has that, so, it's not a big deal. Yeah, like not everybody has something. And some people do, though, so you gotta be careful. And there's so many horror stories, and there's so many stories that are supposed to scare you away from love, but that's the focus. The focus is on giving you negative information. And I'm trying to give you good information and say, don't get blackpilled. Just keep thinking like I'm getting blackpilled, and just don't allow it. It doesn't mean you have to jump into stupid situations with women or men, romantically or whatever. But I'm also saying don't give up on love. And really, like, pray. Like, who could set you up? Who could be a better matchmaker for anyone than if you would ask God himself? You have direct access to the most advanced technology beyond whatever they're going to be able to do with AI. You have a direct line to the creator and maker of all things. So get on that line, on your knees, and do this, or put your face on the ground and pray to God and say, please, Lord, you know all the women, you know all the hot guys, set me up with somebody where we can make it work. And then, straighten up your life so that you can let love in. But I would say I'm not opposed to that. I really do believe, like, pray to God and ask him to set you up with somebody. He knows everybody. He knows who would be perfect for you. And then hope that he does it. And that you're not living a life that's so iniquitous that, like you're canceling out love because of whatever you're beating off to. I don't know you, but you know what I mean. Like, whatever it is, like, maybe clean up your act a little bit, even if you're not making all the money because it's harder for people to do or whatever. and pray to God for love and tell him you're sorry. That always helps. I'm heavy on repentance because I know that God is heavy on repentance. You know the shit you did. He wants you to tell him you're sorry. And then don't do it anymore. And then maybe you'll get your blonde-haired, blue-eyed, big-tittied 40-year-old virgin, or whatever is age appropriate to you, or whatever. Maybe it could be. You like black chicks? You want your brown-haired Afro queen, whatever? She's out there. There's so many people. If they tell us there's too many people, which there's not, but if they say there's a lot of people, and there is a lot of people, then obviously there's somebody out there. And with the internet, you probably don't have to go to another country to find them. And I know it's hard for women to make up their minds. They have so many options. They can just swipe people. Men can do this too. But I would just say don't give up on love. I champion it. You can too. So people, men and women, they were literally made for each other. Like, men are bolts and women are nuts. And they're made for each other. And you want one. I don't know who you are. I don't even know if you're a man or a woman, but you want one, right? Like you do. He's like, just please, God, give me somebody I can trust. Yeah, for a lifetime. Somebody that you could build somebody with. Somebody that you could live in Funko Pop Manor with. Whatever it is. People are into stupid shit. Yeah, And just don't give up on love. Don't get black pilled. It's Planet Daddy issue down here. We all have the same issue. It's an issue with God the Father. Maybe you better tell him you're sorry and have him hook you up with somebody. Lord, I know you know everybody. Who's a good match for me? Set it up. And then be patient. Please, Lord, I don't have money to travel. There's so many people around where I live. And if there isn't, then pray for it. It can hurt. It's not wrong to put everything on God, but he's not a wish granting thing. You know what I mean? It's not just like you're not asking God to grant your wishes. They're prayers. Okay? I don't know why I'm yelling at you. Just don't give up on love. Don't be blackpilled. Don't give up on love. And call your Father who art in heaven. Amen to that. Ask for help. You need it. You need help. You need mental help. And the best help that you can get is not from betterhelp.com. It's from prayers to Jesus. So you didn't know his name before, now you know it, so use it. So, do it. Ask him to set you up with someone. Say, Jesus, please hook me up.